Today is Wednesday, March 9th, 2022. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is our recap of the premiere episode of Survivor 42.
This episode was titled Feels Like a Roller Coaster, and that was spoken by Maryanne. Got that very early on in the 2-hour block.
I didn't catch that. Good catch.
3 boats, 3 tribes. They're coming in. But we're going to get some confessionals. We actually get confessionals from half of all the castaways just on the way in, huh?
Yeah.
First up is Jonathan, who tells us that he broke a record doing pull-ups, and that has nothing to do with Survivor, but he just wanted everybody to know.
Yeah, the thing is that those clips have been out there for a while now. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize it was the beginning of the show that they were showing us. But
yeah. Drea, turns out she's half blind, or at least she was when she ran hurdles. So from only hearing in one ear last season to now we got someone who's, well, is she still half blind? I'm curious.
I don't know.
They didn't really clear that up, did they?
No. And she didn't say anything. She didn't appear to have any problems.
Yeah.
She was reading everything. And so I doubt it. If we were interviewing, I would ask her about it.
Yeah.
And it was time. But
Next up was Omar, who's just as likely to have his hand up a rhino's bum as he is checking out a poor little bird with
okay, thanks for sharing
broken
that
wing.
again.
Hey, that was him. It's not nothing unique you can hang on me.
I skipped over all that and just said, yep.
He's a pigeon.
Does
or
it mean anything that they got a featured
maybe
intro?
he's an owl.
That's all I cared about.
Lydia tells us she's not an outside person and she doesn't like sand. I had Suri flashbacks there, thinking of not liking leaves.
Yep.
And that she's basically awkward at life.
But she's cheery.
It's Daniel's turn next, and this is his lifelong dream. And after that, we've got Marya, and she tells us she's searching for something. It's not necessarily the million, not out here to win. She's just in search of something. And I bet you will find out it's herself, and she discovers herself somewhere along the way.
Mama vacation.
Yeah, it did have that, didn't it? And Lindsay also wasn't necessarily here to win, but she does want to see how far she can push herself.
You know what, though? I think I might like Marya more than I initially thought. Mm-hmm. So I'm still on the fence there.
I don't know. She faded in the background pretty quick after this early howdy-do here with she's in search of. We've definitely seen other castaways that are in search of things that didn't turn out to be actually winning the game.
Yep.
And then High tells us that he's prepared. He wants to be prepared for anything. And I like that.
Okie dokie. We'll see what he can do.
And then the last one we get in this block is Mike, 8 Mile Mike. That made me think of Lose Yourself, that Eminem song, because he's all about the one shot. Look, if you had one shot, one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted, one moment, that's 8 Mile Mike.
I kind of thought I'd like Mike better than I actually did in this episode.
That's funny. I liked him more.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was going to like him a ton. And I was like, I didn't see as much personality as I thought I was going to see.
Softy appeal or something that he had from reading the bio?
I don't know what it was. I don't know. The verdict's not in on that.
Well, sure, it's still early.
Oh, yeah.
But I actually thought, I'm cool with him more than I thought I would be.
You know who's ready for anything?
Who's that?
Maryanne.
Yes, that's when she gave us the title.
Jeez.
It's a roller coaster. She's got her hands up, and she's screaming, and she smiles with her mouth open, which is unique.
Well, no wonder I didn't pick up on she had the title. Mm-hmm. Because she was saying a whole lot and very quickly.
Yeah. Welcome to Survivor 42, Probst tells us.
Yep, all 3 boats land on the beach, and everybody's been quarantined and tested and ready to go.
Mm-hmm. And he taps Maryanne because of her smile, which you totally see that. She does have the best smile out there, bar none. And where she talks about this being her dream.
She is very bubbly. I just thought she would talk so much that she would get on people's nerves.
And that may still be the case.
That may be.
I
like her better than I thought I would.
They've just landed on the beach at this point, so it's still pretty fresh.
Yep.
And Zach gets pretty much the same question, except he flubs it.
Jeff, what will it take to win Survivor? We're about to find out, Jeff. And that sounded really good until Jeff said, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Zach's like, well, it sounded good, Jeff.
Augured in. Yeah, he's just going for the soundbite.
It's like, Zach,
no substance.
Weren't ready for that.
Yeah.
He thought he was ready for everything.
But he's not ready for the monster, like in a horror movie that is the new Survivor, according to Probst.
Got him. No, okay.
Yep. Taku, Vati, Ika, we got our tribes.
He probably thought Zach surely would have an answer for that question, being such a big fan.
Mm-hmm.
He'd
something a little better.
Thought that through or something. And he did. It's just Probst didn't let him get away with it. So, okay.
All right, time to test the tribes. They got to get some paddles.
See if they can
and then paddle out around a buoy and then collect some sticks on the way back.
So
time together and then grab a flint.
Go on Survivor and don't know anything about paddling.
Yeah,
that's not
interesting,
something
isn't it?
I don't know why people always forget that one, but they don't think about learning to paddle.
Well, you know, if they'll go out there without making fire that represents your life.
Well, that's just plain stupid.
Well, you've had some experience paddling, so.
In my opinion, I've had some experience, yes, but if I were going on Survivor, I think I'd want
get some more
to hone up my skills a little bit. So I don't think I'd count on that.
Omar said he was pretty confident because he had seen the first 40 episodes, but now he's concerned that Probe says things are different.
You remember how I ended up in the lake in the kayak?
Yes.
I didn't get past the dock there.
That was a bad kayak to be in. That was a
terrible one.
You got in a whitewater kayak. Yeah. Which is not where we needed to be. We had been in a sea kayak before.
And it was just fine. We had no problems.
Good stability.
Got in this one and boom,
whoop,
right over.
Rolled it over and then promptly started floating towards the dam. I'm like, uh-oh, I better get some help.
Well, they were already on their way out there.
Yeah.
They saw it from, I wasn't far enough from the building they could see. Anyway, we digress. Let's move along. Okay.
All right, so they got to get some paddles. The first two paddles are tied on a cargo net.
Yep, Jonathan, Daniel, and Tori take off after it. Mm-hmm. How was it that Daniel fell and dislocated his shoulder?
On his way back.
Was he just jumping down?
No. He was running back. He was actually right in front of everyone, and he did a face plant. I guess his shoulder hit first. But evidently Daniel is not very put together. His parts want to come apart.
Well,
because it wasn't like a super bad fall, and it was into sand.
You know, that happened to Stephanie LaGrossa.
Yeah, but that was someone wrenching it, right?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is he had to let him put it back if he's a fan, and he knew that he watched Stephanie
he even referenced it. Yeah.
Yeah, so he had to.
Yep, so they go out, and Jonathan, not surprisingly, ends up coming back first, followed by Tori. Tori actually fell on the way out, but she managed not to dislocate anything in the process. But yeah, Daniel falls and when he eventually gets back. And who was it? Lindsay. She took off like a rocket after Jonathan got back.
Boy, I was like, look at her go.
She was digging. Little did she know.
Wow. Yeah, she got there and had to wait.
Yeah.
For Hai and Drea.
So this is the first advantage opportunity of the season. They find out that they can either grab the paddles and go, or they can choose together to untie 20 knots to get an advantage. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be called the Advantage Amulet. And that's pretty much the amount of information they have. They don't know how it's going to work, what it's going to give them or whatever, but it's an opportunity for an advantage. But they have to agree to do it together, and then they sort through it and decide, they're up for that.
Well, I liked Drea telling them, look, we can't tell anybody. Of course, there's no way she can control who they tell from their end, but we haven't heard her tell anybody yet. But it's good she thought of that.
But they didn't think of something critical, it seemed like. Although it evidently didn't come back to haunt them at all.
They said we need a story, but
we didn't see them come up with a story, right?
And we didn't get to see anything about what they told them when they came back, did we?
No.
Because
of the challenge, it seemed
for them to give us that, but they did. Maybe they're going to show us it some other time.
What did you think about the opportunity they had? They gave them bowls of mud and something that looked like blood, and
I don't think they had time to think that through, because they came back.
You think it was a good idea?
With the fake blood, some of it, but not the fake blood. No, because soon as you wash that off, they're going to go, well, where was it bleeding from?
I got you covered. I got the answer on that.
You don't even have a scratch.
I don't think it's mine.
My nose.
I don't think it's mine, is what you said.
Yeah, that's what we were,
Then you're covered.
Eventually, for a while.
Until they get a chance to talk to the other two and find out who was bleeding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who was bleeding? What was him? But that's why I thought, no, they shouldn't have used the blood because, that, or I would have washed it off in the water and hoped people forget about it. But I don't think I would have used the blood.
Lydia did pick up on it. I give her points for being observant.
Mm-hmm.
Because when Hai came back, she's like, you're bleeding. Why? Well, why are they filthy?
Blood,
and then,
why is all that blood?
You bleeding? Yeah.
Are you okay?
And she didn't let it go either. She circled back to it again later.
Did she have medical training?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I don't remember that either, but she was very aware of the blood. And then, obviously, later on, we find out she's very aware of Jackson being dizzy and needing to hydrate. So she was on top of those things. So that's what made me think, but does she have medical training?
Or maybe he just mentioned it. Okay, so they got to paddle out around to that buoy, and Ika is struggling. Probst even says they're struggling not to go backwards.
Yeah.
I didn't see it. Was someone paddling backwards?
I don't know.
Or is it just the waves or something that was getting them there?
There was so much going on, and I was trying to jot notes till I can't wait to go back and rewatch the episode so I can see more of those kinds of details that I would be interested in.
Taku, on the other hand, the Orange Tribe, they did really well.
Yep, Jonathan gets their bamboo, and so...
I forgot who it was on Vati that got the bamboo sticks once they finally got sorted out and turned around, but Taku had a huge lead.
Paul.
Yeah, had a huge lead. And
Romeo got it for Vata.
For Ika.
Huh?
Ika. Romeo's on Ika, the blue tribe.
Oh, that's right. Really?
Look up. Look at the big
I know
TV.
that he is, but I wrote green. Why did I write green? Okay, never mind.
Daniel was dragging that shoulder. You could tell something was wrong.
Oh, yeah, that was obvious.
But the Taku tribe sent Marya up to assemble the bamboo sticks to fetch the flint back. And she had quite the lead there.
Well, it looked exhausting as far as I'm concerned. It just all seemed like, hello, we are here, aren't we?
Definitely wanted to hit them in the face with it a little bit out of the gate.
And they did.
Ika finally gets sorted out and gets back, and Rocksroy gets after it, and he's the first one to have some success.
Yeah, after Marya had been there for quite some time.
Yep.
Before, because getting those boats through underneath those net.
Yeah, that was crazy, wasn't it?
Oh, my goodness.
Having to drag it up.
And I could not
wait a minute.
believe...
That's the other challenge.
Oh, wait.
They only had to
oh, that's right.
To tie the boat up for this one, but they had to have it the right part of the beach. So actually, Jonathan got out and drug the boat over to where they could pull it out and tie it off.
I flashed on that picture of Rocksroy just sitting there, just like breathing hard and
We'll get there soon enough.
Yeah. You're right.
At this point, Rocksroy's a hero because he does really good, and he ends up getting the flint for the Ika tribe.
Very well.
He dropped it in the sand, but then he recovered. He was able to pull it out of the sand. So he did a good job.
Blue wins the challenge.
Yep.
So.
They get the flint first.
And, of course, Jeff calls medical right away. Yep. His eyes, Daniel's eyes.
Yeah.
When the Dr. Ray said, well, sometimes you have to have surgery. He's like, oh, his eyes got real big and like, what? Surgery?
Bugged a little.
No, no. But she was able, it seemed like it pretty easily popped it back in, but maybe that's all we got to see was the easy part.
No, I think that was straight up it. It went back in easily, and it'll probably come right back out just as easily, like she said.
Which may mean surgery eventually, but hey, get through Survivor first. So this is the first negative we see from Mike. He's like, well, this was terrible. Not a good start. We don't have flint. We don't have a pot. We don't have anything.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, yeah.
A little negative, but interesting the way things play out. Okay, we go to the Ika camp there on day one, and Zach tells us he's a super duper fan.
But he is freaked out by Jeff saying, this is a new era of Survivor.
Yeah.
Those first 40 seasons, forget it. So, for a huge fan who thinks that's their big advantage in the game is knowing the game, and Jeff tells them right out the gate that you don't know this game.
Yeah, but you
That's
do.
Scary.
You do.
Yeah, but they don't know that.
Right.
It's the unknown.
But if you're a big enough fan, you know you can't trust probes too.
Well, true, but it's still the unknown, and it does mean there
does put
are
some fear in.
things
Yeah.
coming. So it was scary.
So they do introductions at the Ika tribe, and Swati tells them about being in the National Guard and how she's from India, and
Tori tells them whatever she wants them to.
that she's a caregiver, not that she's a therapist. So she starts out by lying. Yep.
Yeah, well, she always said she wasn't gonna tell them she was a therapist. So, I don't know. There was something weird to me about her sitting with them, Swati and Zach,
yes.
with that whole Harry Potter, and this is what they
I'm a nerd.
want.
You're a nerd. I'm a nerd. We're all nerds. Nerd.
I don't know if you're reading that so good. I don't. Zach, yes.
It had a real try-hard vibe.
Swati, I don't know about that.
Had a super try-hard vibe coming out of Tori.
Way over the top try-hard. So right then I thought, I'm so glad I opted not to choose her for my USB.
Yeah. There's a couple times she gives off some really odd vibes.
Yeah, that was a little like.
But she tells us she wants to work with the quieter people, the ones that are on the outs. She wants to gather them up.
Okay.
Drea and Rocksroy and Romeo break out an alliance there at the well.
Yeah. Well, that's not surprising. I kind of thought they would.
We expected that, right? Being the older ones.
Because they're the older three.
Mm-hmm. We thought there might be some kind of age line alignment.
Right. Okay, then we pop over to Vati and Lydia. Lydia seemed to want to blame Daniel. Well, Daniel fell and hurt himself, and now we have no supplies, is the way she was saying it.
I thought she was just saying they had hit some setbacks, but she did mention that he was hurt as part of the setbacks.
Yes.
So I didn't read it quite the same way.
Okay. I kind of thought it was odd the way it came out. But
So at first, I thought this was going to be exactly like 41. So they've got each of the tribes who didn't get their flint and their pot and their machete have a second chance now. They can choose the savvy option or the sweat option. And the savvy one is the triangle puzzle. It looked identical to the one from season 41. So except this time they said they had two guesses. I think they only had one guess in 41.
I thought so too. Yeah.
And they tweaked the sweat option a little bit. Instead of two people carrying water to fill up the 50-gallon bucket, they said just one would do it.
There's no way one could do it, I don't think. That just about killed the two that did it last time.
For each of the tribes, yeah.
So I don't know if that was
Xander and
doable.
Vochi and Danny and blanking on his name.
No, I just assumed that's what they would do. I thought, Jonathan will jump up and say, no problem, and
I liked Mike here. He said, I'm going to put the kibosh on that because I looked around and I saw that I was going to be the one doing the sweating. So in a contrast to Vochi, Mike actually got his way.
Yep.
He's like, let's do the puzzle.
That was smart on his behalf. He would have been exhausted before they even got started.
Jeannie looked around and went, yeah, but these aren't puzzle people. I know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. This is going to be me.
said, well, I think I can do it. And then they started saying, yeah, it's 11. Uh-oh.
Oh, that was over at Taku. Yeah,
was it?
Yeah, that was good. So Jeannie recognized she was going to have to step up working on it, but she actually did have help. She had more help, and I don't know if it was true help, but she had more people helping with her than they did at Taku. Because over at Taku, Jonathan says, I got this. It's 11. And Omar said, that's funny. I just counted 30. So Jonathan excused himself. He did.
Well, he went to work on the physical challenge, didn't he?
No. He went to work on the shelter.
Oh, is that where he
No,
went?
you don't get to do both.
Oh, I thought he was going to do it anyway.
No, he said he wanted to. He wanted to be the guy to do that.
Okay.
But everybody opted for the savvy option to do the puzzle.
Well, that's good. But it was basically Omar, Lindsay, and Maryanne, wasn't it? Doing the figuring it out.
Yeah. They split. They split up half and half, and the other half went to work on the shelter.
But amazing. This was different from the last tribe. They didn't even want to try it.
Last season?
The last season.
Yeah, they got spooked.
Both of them got it.
Not only did they opt to do it, but they actually got the right answer.
Correct.
Yeah.
50 and 51 and 51 and 52.
Yeah, that was neat how that worked out.
51 was the sweet number, so.
So now they have their flint, machete, and
yeah,
their
everybody
pot.
got their stuff,
So what does that do for the first challenge then? I mean,
it cost them some time for getting their camp together?
Yes.
Basically.
So winning gives you maybe a little extra time. It just depends on how long it took them to solve this puzzle.
Yeah, but it gives you a lot of momentum in the game to be the winners.
I don't know. It seemed
and you guys are the losers.
They turned around and solved this. That would give you a bump too.
They did.
This
and
isn't
it is
easy.
A bump. It's a personal bump.
Jonathan
but it's not a challenge bump.
So clearly pointed out.
Not a challenge bump.
Okay. Back over to the Ika tribe here, still on day one, and this is where I started to realize that Rocksroy is a mess. He's got this old school vibe. He's going to boss people around. He thinks he's in parent mode. He's telling them buckle down and focus and no singing. Come on, man. They were trying to sing like the ancient voices. You got to give him some credit for that.
Well, he didn't.
No. He wasn't having any of it.
And he let it be known. And I thought, oh, dude. And
Zach recognized it right away, so he's painting a target on his back.
Yep.
Well, I guess to a little bit to his credit, he asked Drea to give him a heads up.
And she did.
Right then, immediately.
Right then.
Take it down a notch.
Take it down a notch, dude.
Yeah.
So, you know.
And then he gets his flashback. So he's talking about being a stay-at-home dad.
Well, and we didn't talk about it, but I liked the part where Mike was chopping the bamboo. Then he's splitting the bamboo, and he's like, "I break rock," and got everybody. So he was being lighthearted then, but that's about the only time I thought he was being real lighthearted with them. But that was funny, so I give him that one.
Yeah, I don't think that came right in there, but yeah.
It came just before we went to blue, but you skipped over it.
Oh, okay.
So
Drea's playing What's in My Bra, and so this is where we get, that's what she said. This is where we get to learn more about the Advantage Amulet. And I gotta say, the amount of words on that little piece of paper explaining how this worked should have been clue enough to tell production that you have made this overcomplicated, but they appear to have lost that ability.
Yeah, I just kind of said we'll come back to this because I didn't digest all of that, so we had to come back and relook at that again because I was like, what are they saying? So
it's another one where you have to agree to play it. You have to bring them all together to play it. First off, you have to. To decide to play it, they must be played with all the other amulets remaining in the game. That's key.
All remaining amulets have to must still be in the game, which means you have to work together.
Well, I think it's important to grasp that remaining part because there could be amulets that are not there.
Well, then they said there's a dangerous twist. The fewer amulets in the game, the more power they have. So if they present, say the merge came, they were all in tribal council.
They're still in the game. They've merged.
Right.
So
all three of them are still in the game. If they presented 3 amulets, I don't know if the thing that wasn't clear to me is, does one person present the 3?
No.
Or
they do it together.
Present it together. Anyway,
before the vote. They have to go to Probes before the vote.
3 amulets, they could get an extra vote.
They would each get an extra vote. They're basically trading the amulet for an extra vote.
And with 2 amulets,
if there were only 2 left in the game,
steal a vote.
They would each get, so there would be 2 steal a votes that would come into the game.
Now, if there was only 1 amulet,
it is an immunity. It powers up completely to be an immunity idol. Yeah.
But I don't understand how that works. It's confusing when they say all of them must be in the game.
Remaining.
But if there's only 1 remaining.
All other amulets remaining. That's why I was emphasizing remaining.
Yeah, I know. But anyway.
So if there are 3, you have to coordinate it and do it together. Somehow you decide that between the 3 of you, you want to do this now, and you're at tribal council, and before the vote happens, you take them all up to Probes and exchange them for
it says votes. You have to, when you're ready to use it, present them all to Jeff and say how you intend to use it. So that depending on how many you present. And the Advantage Amulet can be played up to the final 6.
Yeah, while there's still 6 in the game. So it loses its power at final 5 and beyond.
I was already ready to move beyond.
Well, it's a mess.
You know, that could be if those people, they're already thinking, do I want to get them both out? So I'm the only one with this, blah, blah, blah. But it could be a huge advantage at the merge if they had an alliance, but they needed the votes. They could get 3 extra votes, could make a huge difference in their alliance at the merge if they were together.
Yeah, if the 3 somehow manage to survive.
Maybe it'll be interesting, but I expect that they'll probably just try to get the other ones out, get each other out.
Or people will get voted out before they ever have the opportunity to bring them together.
That could happen as well.
And all 3 of them could go. So
I don't know how that's going to work. We're just going to have to wait to see exactly. It's a little bit confusing, but
it shouldn't be that way. It really that should have told them, don't do this. No, it's overly complicated. Don't do this.
You know, something that confused me.
And there's a bigger chance that nothing will come of it.
That confused me just a little bit was Drea went off by herself to read, and she's like, well, I know they'll probably think I'm looking for an idol, but I don't care. But then when Tori goes off, she is ready to vote her out because she's off looking for an idol.
Yeah. I mean, that's just typical.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. Okay.
All right. I think we're over at Taku.
Back over at Taku.
Night 1, Jackson tells us it's time for fire talk. So he gives us his story, his background on transitioning. And
said he applied for Survivor 10 years ago, but as a girl. And that tells everyone he's transgender, and that his family didn't accept him. But during the transition, when his mother got sick, they got close again, and he got to know his dad, and then they got to know Jackson's wife, and who is a nurse. And I point that out because of what's coming up later.
Well, and let's also point out how much he emphasized how important it was to him to be honest.
Okay.
That was a big part of his story. I'm being honest with my tribe, and I'm being vulnerable. I'm putting myself out there. But let's remember this being honest part.
Okay. Alrighty.
I didn't think anything of it at the time.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
So.
I just thought it was kind of an odd way of doing that.
Okay. Well, over to Vati.
Day 2, Lydia tells us it's awesome.
Lydia and High.
She's not crying, so she's happy. Things are good.
But Lydia and Hi.
I didn't see that
I
alliance
didn't
coming.
see that coming. She's so young and smart, but she is very friendly and outgoing. And
I don't know that I necessarily saw all that, but
well, and Chanelle and Daniel seem to be bonding.
out of necessity, because the way it's playing out is Hi and Lydia are talking, so that appears to be an alliance. And then we get Ginny and Mike are talking, so that appears to be an alliance. Mm-hmm. And so the only two left are Chanelle and Daniel, and so they agree to work together.
And it's Mike that asks about Daniel's scar, and he tells him he had it's a childhood leukemia scar. And so Mike picked up on that. Then that was an interesting part of his story, is that while he was recovering from the cancer and his treatments, Survivor was part of what helped him recover.
Story we've certainly heard before on Survivor
Many
Fans
times,
podcast.
many
A lot of
times.
times that we've heard people dealing with really
And that
rough life situations.
he wanted to play for other kids that are sick out there. Okay, now back over to Ika.
Skinny Guys Alliance. Go Skinny Guys.
Yeah, Zach's 118 and Romeo's 112.
12 pounds.
Maybe
combined,
when I was born. I
Combined,
don't
they weigh less than Jonathan. Probably one of Jonathan's legs. Oh, and this is the How You Feeling Alliance. If you said how you feeling, we must be in a... How you feeling? We must be in an alliance.
Okay.
Superfan to superfan, the Skinny Guy Alliance gets set up.
So I wonder what made Tori think that there might be tarot out there. I mean, I know she's using that as an excuse, but I wonder if she read up before she went out there that there would be tarot growing wild.
Don't know. Maybe.
I've never
Romeo
heard anybody talk about
doesn't like it. He says, we're going to vote her out first. She's out hunting for an idol. Just like that. Romeo's cutting her out.
Yeah.
He moves fast. Got to keep up.
But Zach runs and tells Tori that Drea's bringing her name up
And
because she's searching for an idol.
it wasn't really Drea. It was Romeo. So he didn't even get that right.
Drea must have said something to Zach.
Well, I think she entered the conversation for sure, but Tori recognizes she made a stupid decision, which is often what we hear of the people who go off on their own and get busted on day one, day two.
Well, they know it can happen, but you think, oh, they're not paying attention. And yes, they are.
But if you actually came back with some food, then it would be a different story.
Yeah, probably. I'd find that first and then somehow, if there is any out there. Okay, back to Taku.
Yeah, it's time to go to Shipwreck Island. Here comes a boat with a note.
Yep, we knew what that was.
One person.
Of course, Maryanne volunteers.
I'll be the sacrifice,
I will
says.
take one for the tribe.
Mm-hmm. Vati, on the other hand, chooses to draw straws, at which point Ginny loses and has to go. That's how it's perceived, I think. And at Ika, they do rock, paper, scissors, and we see Drea beating Rocksroy at rock, paper, scissors. So she ends up going.
So at least those two wanted to go, probably. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really get that vibe from Ginny.
No, not Jenny. I'm talking about,
Maryanne and Drea?
no.
Drea and
Rocksroy.
Okay.
Rocksroy
Well, there's a lot
and
of different
Drea.
twos possible there. He went with
but we were
ambiguity.
talking about them doing the rock, paper, scissors, babe.
Yes.
Nobody else was doing rock,
I see.
paper, scissors.
Gotcha.
No one.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Couldn't have been part of the larger conversation.
Can you believe Maryanne went out there barefoot?
That
to
was
climb up
odd. Well, she didn't know she was going to be climbing.
Well, but come on.
I mean, Ginny
Have your
thought she was going to get
shoes.
something to eat, didn't she? So I know it seemed like Drea was the only one who brought her bag or backpack.
That
They got
was
some
wishful thinking.
nice pastel backpacks this season. And we get Maryanne's backstory. She's a weirdo. She's doing it for the weirdos. She doesn't care about the million.
She had a lack of self-esteem growing up, but I didn't quite understand why she's like, but I can be myself on the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of people don't think they can, right?
Maybe it's just because she's moved beyond that.
Yeah, maybe.
And she can be who she really is. She's not afraid to she doesn't have the same lack of self-esteem anymore and can really be herself on the show. Is I'm sure what she meant.
Yeah.
So then they get to the top of their little trek and find out they have to separate and make a private decision. We didn't really see them discuss that like some of the others did, huh?
Yeah, definitely Danny and Xander and who else was it? JD?
JD, yeah.
They had a sense of what was going on, what might come up in terms of playing or risking. It seemed like before they went down there, but these three really didn't have a clue. But yeah, it's the same deal. If they all choose to risk their vote, they'll lose their vote at the next tribal council. But if they all choose to protect their vote, then there's no change.
They keep
no
their
harm,
vote.
no foul. And then
So-
if one or two choose to risk their vote, they will earn an extra vote. So Drea chooses risk, Maryanne chooses risk, and Jenny was the only one we're
I
shown.
can't lose my vote.
Well, she was the only one that they showed
Thinking it through and that
thinking it
she
from their
thought both of them
perspectives.
would
Risk.
it.
Therefore, she needed to protect. Whereas Drea and Maryanne came at it more from their, I don't want to say selfish, but just from their singular perspective. They didn't seem to be taking
Well, I just think
the
they
other two into
they're
consideration for
more
their
into
decision.
taking a risk or a gamble.
It was the
than
risk for the
Jenny.
risk. Yeah.
So
Jenny's the one who chooses to protect, like Danny from last season.
yep, she doesn't get an extra vote, but she doesn't lose her vote either. And both Maryanne and Drea will receive.
And honestly, I was looking forward to what I thought was coming next, which was them telling their stories after they got back.
Yeah.
So explaining
Not.
that was not to be. So we see Jeff arriving at Taku, and now this isn't a good thing.
Well, there was just too much in it. I guess they couldn't give us some of those other fine details, even with the 2 hours that we wanted.
So he pulls Jackson aside and says, basically, hey, we're really struggling with this stunt you pulled, which is advising us about some medicine you were taking, and you did it the day before production started, and it's making things really hard. And it's hard for us to do medical testing out here to make sure that you're okay.
Well, basically, it could have a bad effect on him. Everything out there, the lack of food, the lack of sleep, all of that stuff can result in some very bad results for him long term.
So we learned that he says he was taking lithium to help him sleep because he was having a lot of trouble sleeping when he was caring for his mom when she was terminally ill.
True, and that's great, but you can't.
I didn't even know you could take lithium to help you sleep. I never heard of that, but not that I'm doubting him. That was just new to me.
No, it was new to me too. I mean, my brother took lithium, but it didn't help him sleep.
Yeah.
But then he was bipolar, so. But
Jackson tells Probst that he thought he could get off of it in time.
But he didn't.
He didn't.
You know, they
actually
had
do that.
to be out there during that whole period of quarantine, and he waits to the day before they're going out to play the game to mention it, so they can't call in an alternate. I have a problem with that, and I really like Jackson. I was looking forward.
I was looking forward to seeing him play too, but I'm left really annoyed.
Yeah, that's my final take. Is like, I'm sorry you had that situation. However, you broke the rules.
You couldn't
and
get your
cheated
stuff
somebody
straight.
else
Yeah, that's
out
a
of
bigger
the
thing right
opportunity.
there.
That's why there's so many fans that want to play, and you took that from someone.
For your 48-hour dream that you're so thankful to have had.
Yeah,
you robbed someone else
lovely,
of an
and I think
opportunity.
you're probably a lovely person, but I think that choice
Because you
was a
couldn't
bad choice.
get what you needed done.
So that's just how I feel. Sorry.
So he didn't take care of his business, so Probst says they can't take care of him because of all the risks and the situation. And like you said, right before Probst got there, someone was talking about how or he was talking about how he had been dizzy, right?
He'd been dizzy for 10 hours. It was Lindsay. She said, yeah, I'm going to stay on you about drinking water. So obviously she felt the need to do that he wasn't voluntarily drinking enough water. And she said, with you being dizzy for 10 hours, that's not okay. And I'm going to stay on you about hydrating. And then Jeff shows up. So.
Mr. Honesty turned out not to be so honest.
Either he was already having problems.
Yeah.
Because that was part of it, was the dehydration. And you can die from dehydration.
Yep.
And so, anyway.
Wow, Maryanne, it hit her hard. She was bawling. Boy. Jeez.
Everybody seemed very upset. And I know in the moment that they probably didn't have time to really think about the impact, but I would have been mad at him later on when I thought it through.
Yes.
Once he'd been gone away, I'd be like, wait a minute, and you cheated us out of it. Now we're one person down, and we haven't even lost anything. And you did that.
Yep, that's on you.
And so I'd be a little mad about that, too. But anyway, it is what it is. I understand the desire, and he wanted to do it, and he did not reveal.
Okay, moving on. Leaving Jackson in our wake. It's day 3.
Bye-bye, Jackson. Good luck to you.
Time for an immunity challenge.
And this is still day 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're going to start on a platform. They got to dive in, swim over the boat, get in the boat, paddle over, and collect 3 different chests, which were very heavy. And
they looked heavy.
It didn't seem like there was enough room in the boat for 3 chests and five people paddling. And then when they get back, they got to drag the boat and the chest up a ramp, and then they've got to drag it under a net. This is the one that you were talking about before, where Rocksroy kept fading out and not helping.
Yeah. Well,
and then get the puzzle pieces out of those 3 chests and solve a circular dragon puzzle. This was quite the first challenge.
Yes, it was.
Probst explains to him about how the shot in the dark is an option.
Yep.
And they've got Vati and Ika have to sit someone out. So Lydia sits out for Vati and Romeo sits out for Ika. Now they're good to go. So they dive in. They've got to all 5 get in the boat before they can go paddle over to the first chest. And Vati promptly paddles to the wrong platform. They're just having trouble again. Taku's doing really good, and Jonathan and Lindsay were just in beast mode going after those chests, huh?
Yep.
Whatever he did, she did. If he leaped out of the boat onto the platform, he did that. Yeah.
From her bio.
Yeah. She was with him at every step, every beat. Rocksroy, on the other hand, dumped his chest in the water and made it even more difficult for Ika.
He was a disappointment in the challenge, for sure.
I'd say he was a disappointment all the way through.
Yeah.
I was really surprised. I didn't expect that of him, to be that unaware and to be such a knucklehead about the whole thing.
Didn't see that coming.
And to be given out, although he is, him and Drea are it for physical presence on their tribe. So. Well,
and you could tell by what Drea said later that she wasn't too happy with him. If she could do it, she expected him to do it too.
Yep, Taku is in the lead.
Well, I think I'd said that in the Jabbok Part 1, is that I didn't know how physically fit he was. You would assume he would be, but I'm assuming kind of now, maybe not as much as he needs to be.
He was fit to chase some 5 and 7 year olds around, but that was about it.
He's the oldest on his tribe, but he's not that old. 45's not old.
And to be fair, everyone was exhausted. They were all hurting and had to pause at different times, and because this challenge took a lot out of them. That lugging the boat with the chest, up the hill and then under the net. To give
him some credit, it could be pulling on that chest took everything, and he didn't have it when they got to the part where they had to drag the boat so far.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be true, too. So maybe we're being too hard on him. My verdict's not out again yet.
The edit wants you to be hard on him because they show him resting more than they show anyone else.
That's true. But that's what they want me to think. So I'll reserve final judgment until I see how he performs in the coming weeks.
Taku was the first to get their boat to the end and be able to open the chest and get started on the puzzle. So we got Maryanne and Omar working on the puzzle for Taku. And then Zach and Swati are working on it for Ika.
And Daniel and Jenny.
Yeah, for Vati.
Yep.
And so this was different too, but I guess it was because somebody was already gone. Different from season 41, I mean, in that it's the first two that finish have immunity. In season 41, it was the first that finished had immunity, and then the other two tribes went to tribal council. I guess since Jackson was out, they changed it here.
Yeah, because now we were being very specific in the pre-shows, saying only the first person voted out will get the 2 points.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even remember, but you said, well, but both tribes went last season, and 2 people went home, but we couldn't get any confirmation of that. So that's why we were being very specific, about they have to be safe, they have to be in the game through the entire 2-hour premiere. They still have to be in the game to be considered safe. But we were thinking it was because maybe 2 went home at a tribal council. Did not see this happening.
Right.
And then I wonder if they had planned to do that, but once they
I'm pretty sure they did.
They had to get rid of Jackson. It's like, well, we can't have 3 people go home in the first episode.
Well, they could, but
it
would be easier to just have 2
because
that would keep with their plan. Yeah. So that way it could keep with their pacing that comes after this, how they've got it scheduled for people to. So. Taku ends up winning. I thought it was going to be Vati, but Taku pulls it out that gets the first one, but Vati does get the second one, and Ika is going to tribal council. And then we get a shot of everyone.
The correct tribe.
Everyone chugging water at the end of that because it took so much out of them.
Well, and if they're giving them water, they had bottled water, didn't they?
Well, they had their bottles that had water. I think they brought that with them. Although maybe there was extra available. I don't know. Perhaps, although
anybody getting dehydrated out there.
This season, Survivor's a monster, so maybe the monster didn't give them water.
I've heard enough of that. I quit saying that.
Ika has to give up their flint. They are without flint until they have an opportunity to win it back. Zach is disappointed in himself. He says, I'm a puzzle guy, but I was exhausted, and I blame myself.
I was like, okay, that works for me. I have you going home. Alrighty then.
I went back and forth. I was like, do I go with Swati? Do I go with Zach? Do I go with Swati? No, I had Swati first. I'm just going to stick with that.
I went back and forth. I went in and changed again.
You literally were changing it. I meant in my head.
No,
I picked Swati to get voted out.
And I thought, but originally I thought it was Zach, and and I'll be mad at myself if I didn't do. And I was still thinking about, well, should I change it back to Swati? And I just decided this afternoon, and I finally just said, forget it. You're not changing anything else. Leave it be. Whatever happens, happens.
Now look at you.
Very happy.
Look like you're a genius.
Finally in forever, if I've ever gotten one. I can't remember that far back.
But then you can't remember 2 seasons back, so that doesn't necessarily...
I could remember if I got the first off 2 seasons back. No. And I didn't, for your information. Or many seasons back.
Okay, so we're back at the Ika tribe, and Zach apologizes to his tribe. Rocksroy's quick to say, hey, we win or lose as a tribe.
Yeah, right.
And then not too many beats after that, he's like, let's get rid of Zach.
Exactly. It's like, those are the right words.
What did you think about Tori trying to face the rumor that she had an idol?
I don't know. I thought most of what Tori did was mishandled.
Yeah, it didn't come off right again.
It just didn't. Yeah, it didn't. It didn't flow well or something. I don't know what that was.
She ends up going off to talk with Drea, though, so I guess...
Awkward. That's the word. Those things she was doing was kind of awkward.
Mm-hmm. It didn't really seem to address the rumor at all.
I thought she was just going to, be really on top of it. But I was wrong. But anyway, at least she did go talk it through with Drea, and I think that was a smart.
I really liked Romeo's comment after Tori and Drea walked off. To the rest of them standing there, he said, "All right, I want whoever did this to fess up. Who told her? Because we got a rat. Mm-hmm. Who told her that happened?"
And Zach didn't say anything, did he?
No, he said, "Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna keep that to myself." But they cut back to Tori and Drea talking, and Drea's like, "Did you see Rocksroy?" She just really wanted to talk about how bad Rocksroy did in the challenge. She was really bothered.
I had to carry him.
Yeah, I pulled that boat.
I'm the one that had it. Well, yeah, I can see that. She was still riled up about it.
Rocksroy was being such a knob when he was
Romeo's
talking to
like,
Swati. He said, "Go wash those. Go wash those shoes."
Yeah.
Step off. Jeez.
Okay. I won't say what I'm going to say.
Anyway, the two of them end up talking about voting Zach out.
Well, Romeo was cute because he was like, "What are you talking about? He's in our alliance. Can't vote him off."
And when Drea was telling him she wanted to get rid of Rocksroy, wait a second, the three of us are, yeah.
She's like, "Well, okay, well, I guess I might not have a vote,
Strength.
so I'll shut up and do what he wants me to."
Well, but Drea, she pivoted and said she would vote for Tori, so.
Yeah, but Rocksroy wanted Zach, so she would go that way too. But Romeo was trying to manage everyone because he wanted to keep them both because he'd made alliances with them both.
Yeah.
So Tori, obviously, he didn't make an alliance with, so she was the one he wanted to go. That made perfect sense.
Zach and Tori have a quick talk, and Zach tells us, "Look, I'm pretty sure it's one of us. Whatever happens, good luck," he says.
Yeah.
Rocksroy says he is not voting out Tori when he's talking to Romeo and Swati.
Okay, you ready to go to Tribal Council?
Tribal Council.
All right. Jeff tells them, "Get your torches and get your fire."
Let Zach say the line, "Fire represents life," blah, blah, blah. So,
I gotta think
gave Zach that moment.
Zach had let Jeff know he wanted to do that.
Yeah, it was an odd thing to pitch to him, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I think he probably said something. "No, I think I'm going home, Jeff. Please, can I do this before I leave? Just let me do this, Jeff."
Rocksroy tells Probst, "Yes, it is tough. The whole no rice thing puts a whole nother dimension on it."
Yep, he was shocked when they heard that. You think that's part of what's wrong with him is the hunger? He wasn't expecting to not at least have the rice available?
No one was. How can you go out there?
Yeah, but
and
he's a big boy and got a lot of muscles, so he probably figures he needed it more.
He just came across so bad. That scowl, that actually works. It's like you have chosen wrong, and it's like every facet of the game, you're choosing wrong.
Zach tells that everybody pulled their weight to get the shelter built, so there was no problems there. And
Drea wants strong people because the game is tough.
It's a very hard season.
Swati is ready to lose both her pinkies if she doesn't have to go to Tribal Council.
Okay, let's get real now.
Silly. Yep.
And
that was the doofy kind of thing that I expected her to be saying that would have got her voted out.
So you knew that Zach was going to play the shot in the dark since they said nobody said they were going to play the shot in the dark.
Yeah.
Okay, then that means
you had a strong
Zach's
inclination at that point.
So, yeah. Otherwise, why bother to say that? But okay, Zach said, "I think it's me or Tori," and she's like, "Yep." Then she starts pitching, "I'm a loyal person, and I'll prove it tonight.
Yep.
I'll vote with you."
Yep. I'm strong. Keep me.
Well, how hard is that? Everyone's voting for either you or Zach. So, of course, you're going to vote for Zach.
Zach tried to throw her under the bus by saying that she threw him under the bus.
Yeah.
As a bus under bus play, but it did not work. She got a little sarcastic with him.
Yeah, he was the one who betrayed the others. Her throwing him under the bus did not betray the other people.
No.
Him telling her something they said, that was the betrayal.
Right.
So, not the same. But Tori does explain again about how she spent 10 minutes looking for the tarot, and she really was looking for the tarot, and she doesn't have an eye, I don't think. Zach played his shot in the dark.
Were you surprised?
No, not at all.
Well, I guess what you said leading into it, you weren't.
My thought was that,
Actually,
what has he
wouldn't have-
got to lose? It's you, buddy.
He knew how bad it was, is what you're thinking, right?
Yeah, I think they told him, it's you, dude. And I don't think he really thought, he was hoping maybe it was Tori, that he had convinced some people, but I think they all went in, and I think he probably picked up on that, even though he's young. I think he's got enough skills to pick up that it's you, dude.
So he plays his shot in the dark. Drea gets her extra vote, so that paid off for her. And as far as we know, she didn't even have to make up a story about how she got it. Although that's
the point, though.
that's an
We don't
easy
know.
one to do. You just say, I chose to protect.
Yep. And poor Zach, not safe. All
It was a
right.
unanimous vote out.
Yep.
5-1. So if he had been safe, I guess they just would have. You were thinking they would have just revoted.
Yeah, that's what I thought. What else could they do?
Yeah.
They were basically, it was a 5-way tie at that point. So revote. I don't. That they then Tori probably would have gone home.
Yeah.
So,
I think that's likely.
Yep. So I think she's very lucky he didn't get the safe.
What did you think about it? Our 2-hour intro episode.
Oh, I loved having 2 hours, but it still felt too fast. It's like,
Wasn't
whoa,
enough.
I need more details about this and this and this. Could you go back and explain that in more detail, please?
Yeah.
But, oh well. I liked what we got.
Jackson stole some time from us, basically.
That's true, but I'm letting that go now.
Okay. I think I'm still holding on to it for a little bit.
Well, okay. You can hang on to
Yeah.
it until after the listener feedback show.
I thought it
And
was.
then
Then let go.
That's
Yeah,
it.
That my time's up.
Your
Okay.
time's up.
Deal. That'll work.
Okay.
I enjoyed the premiere, with the exception of that mess, and I'm disappointed to see that goofy Advantage Amulet thing with all the mess it incurs and how difficult it is to use it. I would
Yeah.
have hoped they would learn something from the Beware Advantage and what a mess it turned out to be, and unfulfilled.
Well, but it's still out there. The
I'm talking
Beware
about from
Advantage.
last time. I'm talking about from season 41.
I know, but
They would have
I'm
learned.
saying,
Yeah, the Beware Advantage is still coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to have
I wasn't talking
two
about it that
messes
way. Yes,
going.
exactly. Well, more, because it looks like
least.
when I skipped over it, but Probst did that intro and where he talked about it's basically a copy paste with some minor variations
Yeah.
in the beginning.
To shake it up a little,
Yeah.
but not a whole lot.
Yeah, and so
Okay.
the
Well, we won't
Advantage
dwell on
Amulet,
that.
but that hourglass appears to still be in there based on one of the videos they released.
Yeah.
Not necessarily looking forward to that either. But we've got, I would say, in terms of like what we were in the Jabbick show, what we were looking forward to is learning more about these castaways. And like you said, there's a lot of them that surprised us. Some we liked less, some we liked more. And I'm really looking forward to.
Yes, I'm glad
seeing-
to see what I do think by seeing more of them.
See, there were lots of confessionals, but some people were, to a degree, less focused. I think Chanelle.
Focused on. Yes.
Yeah. Chanelle did not get a lot of attention.
Who?
Chanelle, Vati tribe,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
and Marya
I was
very
seeing
limited.
SHAN, and she's CH. When you said Chanel, that's what.
Okay.
Shan went into my head.
Oh, okay.
I was like, who? Yeah,
Right,
no,
or-
she didn't get a whole lot.
Marya and Chanelle probably got about the same amount, which was less than the rest. Wouldn't you say?
Jonathan didn't get a ton. He got some.
Yeah, that's probably true, although he had the first confessional.
Yes, he did.
And I don't think Chanelle actually had a confessional. So we didn't get into her
Yeah, no,
her
she didn't.
backstory. I hope it's not a sad one because I get really
Everybody
tired
got
of that.
a little bit of time, though.
Yeah.
So that's good. And poor Zach, I'm sorry he had to go because he's such a fan, but at least he got to play. Good deal.
Yeah, we had an inkling that it was going to be him, though, somehow. It
Yeah.
just seemed like He looked like he had all the ingredients to be a first out.
I thought he was just going to be too overly exuberant and annoy people, and that he wasn't going to keep it under wraps what a huge fan he was. And he's so young and he's small. I didn't know how physically fit he was going to be. You assume just because they're young they are.
And it turns out he's
But
not so good
you
in
don't
puzzles.
really know.
Yeah.
Well, and when he was just like laying all the blame on himself, I thought, okay then,
Yeah.
you know.
You're writing your own ticket out of here.
Yeah, I kind of think so too. And besides, Rocksroy would have wanted him gone because he probably annoyed him somehow.
Didn't pick up after himself. Yeah.
Yep.
Or didn't fold the palm fronds the right way.
And I guess Romeo caved. So Drea and Rocksroy were louder than him or something.
I'm I'm good with the two that are gone, and I'm looking forward to see how the rest of these play out. So I think that's the sum of it. I enjoyed it, bottom line. Next time on Survivor, here's Maryanne. Yeah, that was funny. That was good.
Jonathan said
hers was the only one, by the way. Yeah. Hers was the only one that wasn't about voting somebody out.
Hers what?
So they did, 3 people had clips, essentially, right? Maryanne, Tori, and then
you mean
Daniel.
on the next on?
Yeah.
Okay.
So in the next on Survivor, there was 3 people get focus. Maryanne's is just funny, and she's a hoot. She's having fun chopping bamboo.
Yeah, they look like Lindsay and Jonathan and her look like they're having fun over there.
Tori and Swati, it's a different story. They're sitting in the water. Swati's covering her face with her buff for some reason and saying,
out Drea.
let's vote out Drea.
Drea's my USB.
And then you get the strange delivery from Tori. Like, she's got this bad drama club vibe about her.
Like, oh, what? I thought, over the top again.
Yeah.
At least in my opinion. Okay. But now she sees the way forward in voting out Drea.
Even saying it that way.
I'm not sure those two, not sure if something wasn't patched together there. Or that
Possibly
wasn't
they
about
do that.
something.
Well, they definitely did it with the third one, it felt
off.
like. With Daniel walking with Mike. That one felt like it was patched together, like it was some jump
cuts. What was
cuts.
Mike talking about? I can't get lost.
I don't know. that would be funny if those two were out walking around and they were actually lost.
Daniel's like, Mike, you're killing me. And then Daniel says, and I don't know that if he was talking about Mike, but he said, I'm mortified at this gameplay.
Yeah.
And to Chanelle, he said, let's vote Mike out or vote Mike out.
Come on now.
So
you can't get rid of 8 Mile Mike.
I would, if I were Chanelle, I would be looking at Daniel going, this from the guy with the bum shoulder, and Mike's an ex-fireman.
Yeah.
We may need him.
Of course, you always say, yeah.
Well, of
to
course,
someone's plans.
But that would be what would be going through my brain.
Yeah.
Would be like, I don't know when your shoulder's going to go out or not.
You didn't even have the good sense to paddle on the side of the boat with your other arm.
That drove me nuts.
Yes, you pointed that out. I was like, oh, that's a good catch.
Look at him. Why wouldn't he at least get on the other side and use the good
Jughead.
arm
Yeah.
to paddle? That is just too stupid.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was me on a rant.
Yeah.
But anyway, though I actually like Daniel so much better than I thought I would.
Yeah.
I thought, I'm not going to like him. He's going to be a villain, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't think I'd like Jenny. I thought she was going to play. And I like them both.
Well, she was awesome, yeah.
Yeah. Thank goodness they had her.
Mm-hmm.
So, go Jenny.
Yep.
Okay.
The JSFL update.
I can do that. 24 people got the 2 points for Zach being the first to vote off of this season.
Joanne being one of them.
Me,
Good job, Joanne.
yay. And there were 17 people who were tied for first place in JSFL.
Mm-hmm.
There were no points for Jackson as your vote off, and you got no points for Jackson if you had him as safe.
And I did, didn't I? I was trying to...
No, you didn't.
Oh, I didn't?
You had Zach safe.
Ah,
You
okay.
were playing it risky.
Yes, I was. I was.
Man, you got burned.
Bold. Yes.
Bold. Yeah, I forgot. That's your word, not risky.
Yes.
Bold.
I like
You
to
were
play bold in the
baby.
beginning.
Good job.
Yeah, right.
Okay. We have 9 people in the side challenge with 6 points. Congratulations to Drew.
Drew?
And Jeremiah. They tied for first.
Wow.
Way to go,
Wait a minute,
guys.
Drew's supposed to be in the basement. Yeah, I think you got something backwards, Drew.
Let's see who's in the basement. With 4 points, we have Justin, Laurel, a.k.a. Brian Hedick Save Us, Rebecca, and Robert, a.k.a. Wolvengray. Then we have, with 3 points in the basement, Cold Mike, Parker, and Stacy.
Uh-huh. It's temporary. It's temporary.
Okay.
My ascension begins now.
Well, the season ain't over till the
Right.
final.
How about some stats?
So, okay.
Like
Who do you
chose
think
was the
did
most
you
popular?
See? Yeah,
No, I
who
didn't
was
see.
High, which we both thought about going with. Oh, did you? You
Yeah,
did go
I did.
with it.
I absolutely
okay,
did.
I thought about it, but
And I'm very glad I did. He came off super good
Yeah.
this episode.
57 people thought so.
Okay. So he's number 1.
He's number 1.
Most popular USB.
Number 2. Who's your guess?
Drea.
Nope.
No.
It was Chanelle
Oh, really?
with 35 people.
Wow.
Drea came in third.
I'm sleeping on her, you know? I just didn't
Yeah.
see the potential in
I
her.
had her in my final 4.
Yeah.
Okay, so Drea with 30, Tori got 28, Jonathan with 18, Daniel with 17, Omar with 15, Jackson with 12. Oh, okay.
There's some unhappy 12 there.
Yeah. Mike with 12, Lindsay with 12, Zach with 11. Sorry, guys.
Yep.
Jenny with 8 and Rocksroy with 8. Romeo and Marya with 6. Lydia with 5. Maryanne got 4. And Swati with 3.
Okay. Wow. All right.
That was a lot for High. Though I'm not surprised, really.
No, he came across really well in the Jabik Part 2.
But you're
and
right.
It really swayed me.
I did think it would be High and then Drea would be second.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to hearing from you guys and see what you thought about our first episode, season 42. How did your opinions change on our castaways? Did anybody come off better or worse than you were expecting? Looking forward to hearing all of that. The voicemail line's 206-350-1547 or toll free 844-643-8737. And you can send an email. If you don't want to record it, you can record your own and attach it to an email. But if you're not comfortable having your voice out there yet, you can always write it up and either Joanne or I will read it into the listener feedback show on your behalf on Saturday. It's due at noon Pacific time on Saturday. And we ask that however you create your content, that you look to keep it in that 3-minute range so we can get everybody's ideas and perspectives in there.
And send it to
Joanne and Stacy Show at gmail.com. And we'll get that put together on Saturday. We look forward to hearing what you thought about the kickoff here to season 42.
Yay!
Anything else you want to add?
Nope. I think we covered it.
Good job. Looking forward to hearing from you. Have a good one.